Oh, we can start at that time. I encourage it. Am I muted? Okay, good morning. Today's share should be a schus for Shlema to Chava, Bas, Rivka, a Katzenstein niece who is having surgery. She should have a Refuah Shlema Ugemura. Today's daf is Nedarim Mem Gimel. Be a relatively short morning for us. We are Mem Gimel. Well, right. Yes. The next couple days, it's like silly short. Okay. We are Mem Gimel Amid Aleph. Thank you for ringing Shalosh. We are at the Mishnah 7 lines down. Amar Lo. A guy says to his friend, and immediately Rashi points out, we're not talking about a case where these guys, we are Mem Gimel Amid Aleph. We're not talking about a case where these guys were no, they're not to have hana from one another. Just two guys. Amar Lo Ichilani Parasla. So Shmerel says to Beryl, lend me your cow. Amar Lo, Eina Penuya. So Beryl says, listen, I'm sorry, the cow's not available. Amar, so the other guy, the requester, in a fit of anger, Konem Sadish Ani Chorish Bale Ola. And Rashi explains that does not mean that any field that I plow is usher to me forever. It means, Rashi says, Shelo Achrosh Sadi Beparascha Olamis, that I will never plow my field with your cow. I will never do it forever. Now, Im Hayad Darko Lachrosh. Who asar v'chol adam mutar. If he, the requester of the cow, is somebody who typically handles the plowing himself, so in that case, he may never use the cow. But if he were to hire a sharecropper or a laborer, that laborer would be allowed to plow the requester's field with the cow. V'im ein darko lachrosh. And if it was not this person's normal practice to plow on his own, but in a series of Rashis here, he explains that, listen, he never really had in mind that he was going to do it himself. He's indoorsy, so he wants somebody else to do the work. Hu v'chol adam asurin. So he and everybody else is prohibited from using that particular cow to plow his field on account of the neder that he made. Now, hamudar hana michavera ve'ein lo ma yochal. So what happens if a person swears off getting any hana from his friend, but the person who made the neder is starving? I mean, mamish, not like I haven't eaten in 20 minutes, but mamish, he has no food. What should he do? So the one who is prohibited from providing the benefit, holech etzalach and bani, he can go to the store owner, the omer, ish ploni mudar mimeni, hana, so and so said and made a neder that he can't get any hana from me. Ve'eni yodea ma'aseh. And I don't know what to do. So what's the storekeeper going to do? Right. Vehu no sin lo, but no tomizeh. So the store owner will know he's going to go deliver a food package to the guy who made the neder, and the store owner will then collect from the mudar, the one who is not allowed to provide benefit to the guy who made the neder. Another similar case. Haya beso livnos. Let's say a guy, he's got to finish building his house. Gidro ligdor, he needs to build his fence. Sadeu liktor, he has a field that he needs to harvest, but he can't because his friend made a neder that he can get no benefit from this individual. What does this individual do? He goes to the day laborers. So and so, my friend made a neder that he can't have any hana from me, so I can't help him build his house, mend his fence, or harvest his crops. And I don't know what to do. So what the workers are going to do is they're going to go take care of whatever these labors are. And they're going to go pick up their wages from the friend who was not allowed to directly provide benefit himself. Let's say a group of buddies, they're taking a walk. And one of them has mamish no food. No seima echad l'shumatana. So the one who is not allowed to provide benefit can give ochel as a gift to some third person. V'hala mutrba. And then the friend who made the neder is then permitted to use that ochel. Why? because it's no longer in the possession of the person who is not allowed to provide hana. It's in the hands of some third party. However, what happens if it's just the two of them? Then what do you do? And if so, let's say it's just the two of them. There's the guy who made the neder and the guy who can't provide hana. No, because the Gemara already said that in the case of chiyus, you just go ahead and save his life, right? So he leaves some food on a rock or on the fence. The Omer, these are hefker, and anybody who wants can take it. And then the friend who made the neder, he's allowed to go ahead and take it, and he's allowed to eat it. The Rabbi Yossi Oser, and Rabbi Yossi prohibits this action, and we will immediately see why. I'm a Rabbi Yochanan, my time with the Rabbi Yossi. Hang on. Hold, please. Hold, please. I'm a Rabbi Yochanan, my time with the Rabbi Yossi. So Rabbi Yochanan wants to know, what is Rabbi Yossi's reasoning for asering this type of hefker? Kasavar hefker kimatan. Because according to Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Yossi believes that hefker and matana have a similar characteristic, which is the following. Ma matana ada asim rishus nosin rishus mekabel. A matana is not really complete until it gets into the hands of the recipient. And so therefore, af hefker ad asim rishus zocher. Hefker is not considered as having left the possession of the original owner until it is acquired through Mashiach, through whatever, gets into the rishus of the next person who is going to pick it up out of Hefker and own it. So for that reason, according to Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Yossi says that if I just say, hey, it's just you and me, and here, this pencil for just you and me is now Hefker, you're the only other one around, he says, that doesn't really count because it never really leaves my possession until it is in the hands of the other person. Now, must be Rabbi Abba. That from a brisa, Rabbi Abba asks the following question: a similar language to our Mishnah. However, Rabbi Yossi is gonna qualify this to Harav's question over there. Hala, sorry, must be Rabbi Abba. The hala noto ve'ochel, Rabbi Yossi oser. So in that case, where it says, all right, this is hefker to anybody who wants it, and there's only the two of us around, the Tanakama is matir, and Rabbi Yossi is oser. I'm a Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Yossi now qualifies his psak. Emasai. When do I say that it's aser? Bisman shenidro kodem lehefkero. That is only in a case where the neder was made before the act of hefker. Look at the last Rashi on the page. Amar Rabbi Yossi emasai ni oser. Bisman shenidro kodem lehefkero. Tahashtem istavra taima. And that makes sense to us, sir. Why? Mishum dekishahediro mikol nechasav, that when he made a neder, asering all of his property, hadiro, va'afilu ki hefkeran aser bahed. He made it on all of his property, so that if he did so before the Maisa hefker, the item that was included in the hefker is included in that original neder. Aval, amud beis, im haya hefkero kodem lenidro. But what if the Maisa Hefker was before the neder itself? Hareze mutter, according to Rabbi Yossi.
Wait, what if?
Hold on, Rashi. Avalim haya hefkero kodem lenidro mutter the mistama kimader inish almad the isle b'rishusehu the adre. Because when a person makes a neder prohibiting all of his property from somebody else, logically, and we assume that he makes this neder on only items that are in his rishus. If I mafkir something, what happens to it? Forget the mechanics of Rabbi Yossi. Lamaisa. If I mafkir something, it's no longer mine, no longer in my rishus. V'lo amashikvar hifkir, v'adahachi mutter, and that's why it's mutter. Now, here is the end of Rabbi Abba's question on Rabbi Yochanan's understanding of Rabbi Yossi. And if, according to Rabbi Yochanan, the reasoning the Rabbi Yossi answers it is because it's never really fully hefker until it gets into the hands of the other person. What difference does it make in what order these things happen? Either way, whether you've got the neder first followed by the hefker, or you've got the hefker first, followed by the neder. Either way, this item is still in his the original owner's possession. So how does this brisa jive with the opinion of Rabbi Yochanan? It does not.
But he put it on a fence.
So what? But it was
It's
never,
not-
the fence can't acquire anything.
Oh, I see.
The fence cannot make an acquisition unless it's Kinyan Chatzah, which it is. They were taking a walk somewhere. So if you and I are taking a walk and we're by ourselves, and I leave this pencil on a tree stub for you, and I say, Mr. Stopek, I am completely mafia this pencil. According to Rabbi Yossi and Rabbi Yochanan's understanding, you can't take it because I made a neder that you can't benefit from my items, and it's still technically in my possession. So the kasha of Rabbi Abba right now is the following. If that's really the opinion of Rabbi Yossi, according to Rabbi Yochanan, then what's this business about the neder first, the hefker first? It shouldn't make a difference. Who mostly love, who mishani lost. So he asked and answered his own question. Kala noder ein dato alma shehifker. That anybody who makes a neder after the act of hefker does not have das to include any item that was previously in his possession that he was already mafia. Okay, so that explains how Rabbi Yochanan understands Rabbi Yossi. Masiv Rava. Rava asks the following question on this entire limud, and in order to better understand this, just 30 seconds of Divrei Hagdama. Halacha is that if a person is on his deathbed, known as a shchiv meira, and he commands the division of all, and he specifies the division of all of his property, the halacha is that if he recovers, chozer mikol matanosav. I'm reading Rabbi Steinsaltz now. He can undo and get back any of these gifts that he gave away. However, if he only gave away some of them to a specific person and left the rest in his own rishus, then he cannot be chozer on the first gift that he gave. Now, let's say he was ill and on his deathbed, and he divided up his property to two people. So the Gemara is going to deal with that case right now. Masiv Rava, Miktasan l'rishon, v'kulan l'sheni. Let's say so-and-so is on his deathbed, Shmerel is on his deathbed, and he says, I'm giving 54% of my property to Alan, and the rest I'm giving to some other person. Rishon kana, sheni lo kana. So the first person maintains his gift because it was a specific amount, but the second person does not because it was unspecified. It was just everything else is left. And because he didn't specify, that part remains in his possession. Now, this is a huge question on the limud of Rabbi Yochanan, because according to Rabbi Yochanan, if it never leaves the original owner's possession and goes into the second guy's possession, it's not really fully hefker. It's not really fully a matana. But we see here that in this case, where a person, a shchiv meira, divides his property into, I'm giving you 25% and the rest to somebody else, that first person still gets to keep it, even if the person survives, even if the shchiv meira survives. So we see that the matana never has to actually get into the possession of the recipient in order to become an effective matana. So how then can Rabbi Yochanan say within the sheet of Rabbi Yossi that matana and hefker are the same, and neither one of them tzugizot is effective until it gets into the hands of the recipient? So Ella Amar Rava, Ainu Taima de Rabbi Yossi. So Rabbi Yochanan, Kashi against Rabbi Yochanan, Ella Rava says this is the reasoning of Rabbi Yossi. Gzeira mishum matanas beis choron. He's a gzeira because of a matanas beis choron. And we've already sort of nodded to this. Beis choron is essentially a case of harama. It's a case of subterfuge where I'm gonna like wink be mafter this so that you can have it. So Rava says we're choshesh for that sort of situation. And because we're choshesh for that sort of situation, the opinion of Rabbi Yossi is why doesn't it work? Not because of matana and hefker and rishus of the original owner.
Just because of
it's just because we're choshesh for harama. We don't want people to be, wink, being mafkir all of their property, dafka to give it to somebody else in situations where they're really not, the recipient is not supposed to benefit. Okay, we're actually going to stop here today. Ad Kan Mem Gimel. Tomorrow we will do Daf Mem Dalid. And I think what we're going to do is, as you can just turn the page, it's tiny. I think we're just gonna finish the parak. And I'll leave for Yoel or whoever else takes over on Friday, what to do with the 3 lines of Mem. Right,
Just remember that.
the Brosner giving shear.
Who's taking